Good day. This is Sedlow. It is September 11th, 2023, and I hope today everyone will take a moment to reflect on the events that occurred 22 years ago today. Um, the attacks in New York and Washington and what happened in Pennsylvania, the thousands of people whose lives were stolen, the people who were injured and continue to live with these injuries mentally and physically. To think about the families, to think about the bravery of the first responders and the civilians who rushed to help, and and the friends and families of everyone involved, the communities, the cities that they lived in, the countries all over the world who were impacted by this. Please take a moment today and think about that. Um, I think anyone who was alive that day and is old enough to remember probably remember exactly what they were doing and where they were um, when this happened. And I'll tell you my story. First of all, I will tell you I was not uh, anywhere near there. I was on the West Coast. I don't have any friends or family who were directly impacted, although many of my friends did subsequently get deployed and went overseas. But wasn't directly impacted. But here's my story. I was a young guy. I was living on the West Coast. I was deeply into history and military aviation. I had a radio scanner. I listened to a lot of stuff going on that way. So September 11th, I got up as I normally do around 5 a.m., around 8 o'clock East Coast time. Threw the coffee machine on, went and had a shower, made something to eat, came back, and on the television, one of the buildings was burning. I think it was CNN. I don't remember. But they didn't really know what had happened. I was thinking maybe there was a bomb because previously the World Trade Center was subject of a bombing. The embassy bombings in Africa happened a few years prior. The USS Cole was attacked the year before. And so my thoughts were Al Qaeda maybe got a bomb up there somehow. And then on the news they were saying, well, no, a plane had hit it, and I thought, oh, okay, well, maybe somebody went off course or had a mechanical problem and hit the tower. The thought that it was intentionally done from an airplane didn't really click with me. It didn't make sense, and I didn't even think of it. So I went to the computer, which was in the other room, and loaded it up. And as a being an aviation buff, and I had a radio scanner, I was a member of a group called Milcom, a mailing list, and there they were like, oh, I don't know what's happening. Something's happening in New York. Went back to the TV room and watched the second plane hit. And and at first I thought maybe that was a replay of the first tower being hit. Maybe they had found some footage of it happening, and I saw it was an airliner. I was like, that was intentional. And then there was two buildings on fire, and I realized that there was two planes that had hit, and immediately thought, oh, Al Qaeda's doing this. This is crazy. Went back, saw in Milcom people were starting to post of it, and there was warnings, don't post any air defense information and stuff like that. Went back to the TV, and the first tower collapsed live, and it was just incredible. I can't even describe the words or the thoughts that had gone in my mind. It was just shock and horror. And then shortly after, the second one went down. Um, so yeah, so on the military side of it, I had my scanner, so I went and I turned it on. It was in the room where the computer was, and you could hear civilian airliners were starting to be diverted. Um, Aircraft coming in over the Pacific who were going to, like, you know, New York or Toronto or whatever were being diverted to Vancouver, being diverted to Seattle, stuff like that. A lot of pilots were like, what? What's going on? Huh? And initially the airspace restrictions were thought to be temporary. And then the military UHF frequencies started coming alive. Some of these frequencies I had in my scanner, I'd never ever heard anything on them before, like NORAD freaks and stuff. And they came alive with F-15s, armed F-15s coming to do combat air patrol over Seattle.
What's the latest on CNN?
That just, I never thought of that ever happening. Just never even crossed my mind. Like, I never, what the heck is this, And it was happening. I think even the pilots were like kind of shocked about it. But you could hear them flying over the city, checking out radar tracks that they had. There was some intercepts that had happened. They were coordinating refueling with KC-135s coming out of Spokane. And then they were trying to coordinate with U.S. Navy ships that were out below in the waters, who were trying to provide air defense because nobody really knew what was happening, if there was other attacks planned. So yeah, to listen to the coordination was something else. I've got lots of radio comms of the event stored.
In the Puget Sound, Quebec, 8 X-ray. This is Taha 03 on guard. Come up, uniform. Point. I say again, Quebec.
Yeah, an interesting day. I spent most of the day listening to the scanner and the computer and the television until I had to go to work later that afternoon. So yeah, that was September 11th, 2001 for me. Again, I was not personally affected by any friends or family lost, but it did change my life. It changed the world, and that's all. So I hope everyone does take a moment to reflect on those events and also the subsequent events, the deployment overseas and the conflicts there and the lives lost and the people injured, the friends and families and communities that were affected. Yeah, so have a thought for them. Remember, and we'll talk to you again soon. Okay, bye.